Welcome to week 2. In week 2, we're deepening the conversation to ask, why do we engage in spiritual formation anyway? What's the aim? What's the goal? What's the telos? And we'll be using the work of Evan Howard. This book is sort of our guide to get us started here. So chapter 3 is on the docket of this book is on the docket this week. And as you get opportunity to just keep reading in Evan Howard, because we'll be using him as a structural guide for much of the course. So the aim, there's a lot of words that get tossed around. The aim of spiritual formation is holiness or sanctification. In the East, the word theosis is often used. So Howard's going to introduce you to some of those terms and the nuance of those terms and help you begin to ask about that question for yourself. So that's part of the work today, and there's this week, and there's a discussion thread to engage along those lines out of your work with Howard's book. But there's other things going on this week as well. Last week you were reading Sheldrake and Wainwright and Howard and others. And I was asking the question, what is spirituality? You had a thread about that last week. This week we'll do another thread, but the thread this week is to do a little more thoughtful engagement out of the close reading of those texts from Sheldrake, Wainwright, Howard, others. And answer the question, what is spirituality now, after you've done some reading. And perhaps that will sharpen. The intent is to sharpen our thinking about spirituality and in terms of defining it and helping you define it for yourself. So there's a discussion thread on what is spirituality. The third piece of work this week is a preparatory piece that gets us ready for something a little bit later. A little later, you're going to be writing a spiritual autobiography about your own journey towards spiritual maturity. But to do that, I want to invite you to find a guide, someone to walk alongside you. And that someone will probably be a dead person. I'm asking you to take a look at a list of leading voices from the Christian tradition and pick someone who will be your spiritual guide. You'll see a suggested list in the assignment this week. I want you to find someone you have not read. You may have read Augustine in Confessions, so don't choose Augustine, choose someone else. The list that is there is not an exclusive list. If there's someone that you have thought you'd like to read that is recognized as someone who has a lot to offer to spirituality, then shoot me a quick email and ask, and we'll make that arrangement. I'd invite you to consider finding someone who might resonate with you well, either because of their own life journey or their own geographic location and space. If you've got some questions about all that, shoot me a quick email. I'll try to respond quickly. But I want that to be a meaningful choice on your part. And all you have to do this week is to choose that person and identify the work that you'll be reading. And then over the next few weeks, you need to be reading that work, and we'll pick up with that person again when you do your spiritual autobiography. So that's a little bit of a clue in that you'll see in that assignment as we go along. So week 2, what are the aims of spiritual formation? What's the telos? We'll stay in touch.